Abortion should be considered a crime. It should be considered murder. You're unjustly taking the life of a human being, and so that's murder. And what I've said is what is the historic position of the Christian church, that if you take the life of a human being unjustly, then what the state owes you, if it's proven and it's true, is capital punishment. You forfeit your right to live. Abortion should be considered a crime. It should be considered murder. You're unjustly taking the life of a human being, and so that's murder. And what I've said is what is the historic position of the Christian church, that if you take the life of a human being unjustly, then what the state owes you, if it's proven and it's true, is capital punishment. You forfeit your right to live. However, in this nation right now, we have strayed so far from just standards of accusation and prosecution that I can't even say, and I won't say, that I want capital punishment in any particular state, because it could have an unjust system that leads to that capital punishment. So do I believe in capital punishment for murder? 100%. Do I believe that we are in the place right now where we can employ that with trust to our judicial system? Absolutely not. So you heard me say that I have no affections ultimately for the Republican Party or anything like that. What I'm looking for is consistency and principle. But we're obviously, from my perspective as a Christian, as a pastor, in a very difficult moment, because it would seem to be that both candidates, whether it's Biden or Trump, both have radically unchristian worldviews on so many issues. And so it becomes very challenging. I'm not saying that as a Christian you need to have the perfect candidate. But you're right. On this issue, it becomes very challenging for someone like me. I don't idolize Trump. I'm thankful for some of the things that he did that are consistent with the Christian worldview. I'm thankful for a lot of those things. But at the same time, I think it's important to call out where he is inconsistent and where he demonstrates that I'm more concerned with votes than I am lives. I think the idolatry of Trump amongst Christians in America is shameful.
But I first wanted to ask about national folks, too. We've seen Donald Trump, frankly, step away from calls for a federal abortion ban. We've seen Republican Senator Kari Lake step away from calls for a federal abortion ban. What is your reaction to just the way national or kind of big-name Republicans who were pro-life and anti-abortion 4 or 5 years ago have kind of become pro-state, decide on its own?
Yeah. I think it's demonstrating that a lot of these politicians are not as committed to the principles they say they are, and they're, in fact, charlatans. You know, I believe this for votes, I believe this for the crowd, but I don't actually believe it in principle. And so I think what Donald Trump did and how he came out was it exposes his inconsistency, but it also demonstrates that he doesn't really believe what he says he believes. And the same for Kari Lake.